Let's get some business news now, and joining us is Edward Boyd. Ed, good morning. The second day of the ASX Annual Forum being held in Melbourne. 4 major regulators are all appearing on a panel in just under 2 hours' time.
Yeah, it kicks off at 9 a.m, so we're hearing from the head of ASIC, also the head of the ACCC, the head of AUSTRAC, the financial crimes regulator, as well as there's four of them appearing, and the head of APRA, the banking regulator. But expect all 4 of them to talk about some of their big wins and victories in the past 12 months and some of their ongoing court matters, particularly the head of the ACCC, Gina Cascott-Lee, because obviously they've got the court case right now with Qantas on the ghost flights, where Qantas allegedly sold more than 8,000 tickets to flights that had already been cancelled. So expect all 4 regulators to have something to say about Australia's current regulatory environment, whether anything needs to change, and just recap some of their big wins from the past year. And AUSTRAC obviously are still dealing with the Star Casino and potentially getting a $1 to $3 billion fine out of them.
And Ed, tonight, RBA Governor Michelle Bullock speaking in Sydney, expected to talk about inflation and interest rates.
Yeah, she spoke yesterday morning at the ASIC Forum and gave us some hints around inflation and interest rates, basically saying she's a bit worried that wage growth in Australia at 4% is perfectly fine as long as productivity picks up, because we know productivity growth is near record lows. So she was on a panel yesterday. When you're on a panel, you don't get a lot of time to speak. Tonight, she's actually presenting a speech at an economic event in Sydney, so expect her to talk in much more detail, give us an outlook for where she thinks interest rates are going to go. From her comments yesterday, it sounds like she is ready to lift the cash rate again, if necessary. Obviously, no one's hoping it's necessary, but there's a potential for a rate rise maybe in February next year. So we should get some guidance from Governor Bullock later tonight.
All right, and tomorrow the ABS will release its projections for Australia's population. Ed, this data released every 5 years, so it's a big one.
It is a big one. It doesn't come out very often at all. Basically, it models what Australia's population could potentially look like in about 50 to 60 years from now. So the most recent one came out 5 years ago. It had Australia's population growing to 2026 by potentially up to almost 50 million people. So it looks at things like migration, which we know has been really strong over the past 12 months. It looks like other things like fertility as well. So it's pretty interesting data. It helps governments make decisions around building infrastructure and things like that, and healthcare systems and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what the ABS can come up with tomorrow.